Hi everyone, my name is Annalicia Mendez, and today I'm going to be talking to you about solutions for the achievement gap and what I think should be done about it. The achievement gap is a gap between students, whether it being low income or high income students, whether it be on a social level. It is the gap that separates them from achieving the same things or achieving similar things because of money, social status, or anything like that. Some of the causes, one of the big causes to me would be money. Students that have more money are able to achieve more due to the materials and resources they are able to access because of their money. This relates to my own personal experience because personally my family has never really had money until now. As one, my mother doesn't have to take care of 4 kids with no fathers in the picture, but also because her kids are working now, as we are all over the age of 16 and we are able to work. This relates to me again because we have never been wealthy, so therefore I had never had good tutors. I never had the better schools. I was always in public schools and I was always taking donations and things from the school in order to help me succeed. Even now, I am on scholarship because of decisions and things I had done and made in order for my mom not to have to pay out of pocket for school and things like that. So that's how it relates to me, and that's why I think it is a huge problem and a huge funding problem, which is why I wish and feel like there should be more money put into education, especially low-income schools and students. My solution to this would be obviously having more funding, but creating a personal relationship with students, but also parents. I feel like besides a student being at school 8 hours a day, they are home the rest of the day, and that is the root and the start of all either problems or solutions. That is where they're gonna go home. That's where they wake up in the morning. That's where they're gonna go to sleep at the end of the day, and that's where problems need to be solved. And if the parents aren't communicating to the children to the parents, I want to at least be a mediator and a middle person in order to find out the sides from both of them in order to help them either grow, find solutions for their problems, in order to help them close the gap so they can be able to focus on school and studying and their studies even more. There is really no step-by-step format. Personally, I feel like I should just be a better teacher. I should be able to ask parents about problems. I should be able to ask students about problems. I will have meetings. I will do anything, honestly, in order for this gap to close even slightly. I feel like personally it's closing a little bit because my generation, a lot of my friends are first generation students, and we're in college, we're graduating, we are making the change that and setting our future up and our future siblings and our future anything for success. So as I don't have a step-by-step format, I feel like first of all it starts with funding if I want to be on the bigger and broader scale, but from then it starts with me and creating a safe and comfortable and easy environment for both the parent and children to talk to me and be able to let me know of any problems or anything that needs to be addressed, and from there we can go, whether it be getting more snacks, getting more funding, a day off, a teacher and student day, a teacher and parent day, whatever the case may be. Those are the steps we would go through, but first we need to find out the root of the problems besides the money, as money is going to be an issue regardless. The reasoning behind my solution is because, again, that is the root and where everything starts. The resources necessary for this, again, is money. Money is the root of all evil, the root of all problems, but also the solution to everything. If there was more money and more funding for students in lower income areas as well as higher income areas, but more lower income areas, they would be able to focus on getting a tutor, not working, because they're able to afford their school stuff. It all goes back on the money issue. Not being able to afford stuff, they're not able to afford books, they're not able to afford a tutor. The tutor helps them, so if they're not getting the help they need, they're getting bad grades. The bad grades then doesn't allow them to pass, which only upsets the parent, upsets the teacher, upsets the school. And when the school isn't performing well, what don't we get? Funding. So again, always back to funding. So that's why I feel like that is the necessary solution and resource that we may need in order to help this. Some obstacles that I may arise, again, funding, we don't have enough, but also parents not being able to put in the work and not willing to put in the work. I personally have met many parents that don't care, that don't want to help the students, that don't have the time or want to make the time in order to help the students, and that's already the problem already. So besides that, I feel like that would be one of the biggest issues, as I already seen parents not being involved, but also my parent would make excuses in order to not get involved. So I feel like we would need to establish ground rules, and in order to help that not become an obstacle. The outcome of this would be, one, get more funding, but also just be able to bring awareness to this. I was mentioning this to my family and just getting some ideas, bouncing some ideas off of them, and they even asked me like, oh, what's that, like what's the achievement gap? And I was like, wow, this is like, the person I was talking to in my family is in college and is in nursing school, and he had no idea what it was. And so I was like, wow, if a smart person, not that if you don't go to school you're not smart, but someone that is very well educated and in school currently, and is a person that does care for children, does care for school, and thinks school is important, doesn't know about this, how many people that aren't like him, or not that it's a bad thing, don't know about this. And so therefore I would at least want to that would be my most hopeful outcome, would be bring awareness and go ahead and close the gap a little further, whether it be just by little minor things, by creating relationships with parents. I would want to close the gap. And this is important to me and my community because I feel like we will be setting up the rest of our future. We will be able to have these students set up with resources and funding and things they need that I didn't have, and that they shouldn't have to think about, whether it being where their next meal is coming from, whether they can afford a pencil, because that is literally a problem, is students aren't able to afford uniforms. Quick story, at my school, it is a lower income school still, but you had to match your sweater in the winter with your uniform, whether it being a maroon sweater, a navy blue sweater, or a white sweater. It was so bad that students couldn't afford sweaters that they would get their sweaters taken away in 60, 50, 70 degree weather because it didn't match the uniform, but because they couldn't afford it. Not because they were being bad students, not because they wanted to look cool. It's literally because they couldn't afford it. And again, that is an issue, because the parent-teacher relationship, the parent-student relationship, we don't know that they couldn't afford it, and therefore the teacher took away the student's sweater, all because of, one, not knowing, but two, literally the rules in place that are redundant. Just a quick story that why and how the achievement gap is affected, because that student then probably, it was cold all day, thought all day like, oh my gosh, now I have to buy a sweater, now how is my mom gonna afford a sweater? Again, those little things widen the gap, don't allow the student to achieve all they can achieve, and focus on studies to help close the gap. Those are just a little things that I had in mind. If there are any solutions or feedback or anything that you may have questions on regarding my solutions, please let me know. Any feedback is greatly appreciated, and thank you.